Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Isaac Higwell.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is William Choi.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Mia Powell.
Collectively, we represent the plaintiff in this case, the estate of Alex Malone.
Cool. Defense.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Natasha Kirilla, and today I'm joined by my co-counsel Nick Kitata
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
and John Lee.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Together, we represent the party representative in this case, Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Good afternoon.
Once the plaintiff has finished their pretrial matters, we have just a few brief.
All right. Do you have any trial matters?
Yes, Your Honor, just a few. We'd like to move Rule 603 and Rule 615, the constructive sequestration and swearing in of all witnesses or any party reps.
All right. Do you have any objection to that?
No objections, Your Honor.
Do you have a party rep you'd like to designate?
Yes, Your Honor, Teddy Mothersbaugh.
So designate.
Next, Your Honor, if you could go to the stipulations tab,
And what am I looking
we're
for?
looking at stipulation 13. Now, both parties have agreed that there are a few exhibits that are pre-admitted in this trial. Stipulation 13 just lists out what those exhibits are.
All right. Looks like 3, 6, and 7. Is that your understanding?
Yes, Your Honor.
But that we're ready to go.
Awesome.
First, Your Honor, we just want to ask your preferences about moving about the well and approaching witnesses. Would you like us to ask for permission or do we have free reign?
Ask for permission to approach opposing witnesses, but you have free reign. Just make sure you vote for the record.
Yes, Your Honor. Next, I'd like to direct your attention to a stipulation right below the one plaintiff just read, it's stipulation 14. This just says that if Dr. Talbot Meyer is not testifying, which he isn't in this case, all objections have been waived to exhibits 1 and 2, meaning they are pre-admitted in addition to 3, 6, and 7.
Okay. Is that your understanding as well, Mr. Lee?
I believe stipulation 14 states that they can be entered anytime after the conclusion of opening statements, not exactly that they're pre-admitted, but we agree to waive all objections.
Okay.
No more, Your Honor. We're ready to proceed to open.
All right. Let's get into it. May I proceed? You may. Counsel, members of the jury, may it please the court. This defendant beat him when he was already down. It's July 20th, 2024. Alex Maloney is working his usual shift at a local nightclub, the Hellfire Lounge. But just a few hours into that evening, he gets into a heated argument at the back alley. He's taking out a patron who was going into places that she wasn't allowed. Alex was doing his job. But then someone approaches him, not to help or to de-escalate the situation, but instead that person, he attacks Alex from behind. He pummels him into the ground, hits his head, cracks his ribs, beats him until the entire alley is covered with his blood. He beat him when he was already down. That's why we're here today. Because it's July 19th, 2025, nearly 1 year after the attack on Alex. And Alex is still in a coma at the hospital just a few blocks down. But you'll learn that the person who caused those injuries, the person who attacked Alex, was this defendant in the vigilante's costume who decided that Alex was his next target. That's why Alex Maloney's family, the plaintiff, is bringing a suit of a claim of negligence and a battery claim against this defendant. In doing so, we've taken on a burden to prove to you by a preponderance of the evidence, simply more likely than not, that the defendant knowingly caused injury to Mr. Malone. Now, we're not just going to tell you that we're going to show that to you, we're going to prove it to you. Because you'll be hearing from Umi Darwish today, a street performer who was at the Hellfire Lounge the night Alex was attacked. She'll tell you that she saw the vigilante head back into the alley from the same car she saw the defendant. You'll also learn that the defendant tried to cover up what he did. That Ms. Darwish collected the mask the vigilante left behind, which you'll hear that the defendant asked for just a few days later. But you're gonna see that the evidence against this defendant is so insurmountable that even the defendant knows he can't deny it. You're gonna learn today that the defense is pursuing what's called an affirmative defense, meaning that he admits he injured Alex Maloney the night of July 20th. It also means that even though we carry the burden as the plaintiff, the defense took on a burden of their own. And they have to prove it's more likely than not the defendant committed those crimes to protect himself or another person from the attacks of AJ Maloney. Now, folks, that's a burden that the defense won't be meeting today. Because you're gonna learn that not only was this attack premeditated by the defendant, that in beating Alex into a coma, the defendant went beyond any injuries that Alex might have inflicted on anyone else. In fact, you'll hear from Emerson Rush, the owner of the nightclub that Alex worked. He's gonna tell you that he knew Alex personally, that he never saw Alex act violently towards the defendant or Miss Uchida. That just days before the attack, he heard this defendant threaten to kill Alex Maloney. Members of the jury, as you listen to the evidence in today's trial, we expect you to learn that unlike the plaintiff, the defense will fail to meet their burden. Because it was the defendant who beat Alex Maloney when he was already down. We're confident you'll find the defendant fine. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Opening from the defense.
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
You may.
Counsel, members of the jury. May it please the court. Cocaine, Molly, methamphetamines. It's not a list of drugs that was found in the Murano PD's evidence locker. It's a list of drugs found in AJ Maloney's blood the night of July 20th. He took drugs. He tried to take her life. As I was listening to plaintiff's story just a moment ago, I noticed that they left out a few crucial facts. They didn't mention the drugs that were in AJ Maloney's system. And the reason they don't want you to look at all of these facts is because when you do, it paints a picture that they want you to ignore. Because today's case didn't begin on July 20th, it began 2 weeks earlier, when Ali Uchida is investigating the Hellfire Lounge for a new journal article. She's documenting a potential drug trafficking operation. But you'll learn today that AJ Maloney, the club owner's bodyguard, found out. He tried to make sure she would never publish that story. So when he saw her in the club that night on July 20th, he flew into a drug-fueled rage. He knocked her unconscious. It was only after he tried to attack her defenseless body. That Teddy Mother's body stepped in to stop him. And members of the jury, when someone is lying on the ground defenseless, you don't just have to sit back and let them die. Because the law in Murano says you're allowed to help them. It's something called the defense of others affirmative defense. And by pursuing this defense, we have to prove to you that it's more likely than not that Teddy Mothersbaugh defended Ali Uchida from an immediate threat, and that he did so with a proportionate amount of force. And we'll call 2 witnesses to prove that to you today. You'll hear first from an eyewitness, Nova Stone, who was at the club on July 20th, and he'll tell you he saw AJ Maloney with with a bag of drugs that night. He'll tell you he heard AJ Maloney threatening Ali Uchida's life, saying she would never investigate again. And after that threat, he saw her swinging at the back of Uchida's head. She was trying to run away. Then he saw him chase her out of the building and into the alley. So what happened in that alleyway? Well, we'll bring you the only witness who can actually tell you what happened in that fight. You'll hear from Teddy Mothersbaugh himself, and he'll tell you that he saw AJ Maloney throw Ali Uchida into a wall, and then try to stomp on her defenseless body. Members of the jury, we'll show you that AJ Maloney was taking drugs. That he was trying to kill Ali Uchida. Now, today, we expect that you'll be asked to compare the credibility of a few witnesses. Teddy Mothersbaugh will tell you that he did everything he could to try to stop AJ Maloney from killing Ali Uchida, but no matter what he did, it was relentless. And we'll tell you why. Because we'll bring you AJ Maloney's medical record from that night. That medical record will tell you he had cocaine, Molly, and methamphetamine in his body. But we also expect you'll hear from the man who brought this suit today, Emerson Rajama. We expect that he'll be forced to admit that he brought this lawsuit because of a personal vendetta he has against Teddy Mothersbaugh. So at the end of today's trial, we'll ask that you find Mr. Mothersbaugh not liable. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have the first witness?
Yes, Your Honor, at this time, plaintiff calls Umi Darvish.
Umi Darvish.
See. Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi there. I'm Umi Darvish.
What do you do for a living?
Well, to the dismay of my mother, my father, and my bank account, I'm a street performer. I started out doing puppet shows, marionette, sock puppet, you name it.
And ma'am, how's that business going for you?
Not well, Miss Kid, why? You know, after every puppet show I do, everyone in the audience, they stand up, they start yelling at me. They say, you scammed us out of their money, and they demand a refund. I don't know why. I don't know what people expect. It's a puppet show. The sign out front spells it out nice and clear. Watch me get handsy, $20 only. You know, I don't know what people expect, but now I've switched. I do variety shows.
So after you had to stop getting handsy, what kind of variety shows did you start with?
All sorts of stuff. Magic, dancing, singing, juggling, all sorts of stuff.
Where do you do these shows?
I do them right on the corner outside the Hellfire Lounge. It's a little club downtown. The best place in town to make cash tips. So between me, the political campaigners, street vendors, and the Scientologists, it's a hard corner to get your stand on.
Oh, well, you said that you work in Tower City. Do you know about a vigilante called the Serpent?
Yeah, I do. He's like a crime fighting superhero Robin Hood type.
Ma'am, how do you know the Serpent?
Well, there was once I was looking on the street and this thief was trying to steal a purse from an old lady, Looney Tunes style. Serpent jumped in, grabbed the purse, gave it back, saved the day.
What does the Serpent look like?
He's got this kind of all green accoutrement going on and these little like green leather mask. Doesn't cover much of the face, lighter skin color, darker hair.
Did you ever see the Serpent after you saw him save that old lady's purse?
Yeah, I did. Couple weeks later, I think about July 20th.
Well, then I want to walk through July 20th. Where were you at?
So I was working, I was doing a show right outside the Hellfire Lounge, a magic show. So I was setting up for that, all the people came in, to get in line for the club.
What type of magic show were you doing?
Listen, I can't tell you how, magicians never reveal their secrets, but I make people's socks disappear.
Why do you make people's socks disappear?
Sock puppets, Mr. Lee, check your right foot. Right over here. You want it back, sir?
Miss Armish, Adelaide.
Alright, if you insist.
Well, was the serpent at this sock stealing show?
No, not the serpent, I saw a couple other people I knew, dancing in line, standing in the alleyway.
Did you see the serpent anytime later that day?
Yeah, I did. I was finishing up, gathering all my socks in a little nice neat pile. I was gonna take them to the laundromat. These club people, they're filthy. So I was doing that, and this black car sits out right in front. Out pops the serpent, tumbles out of it, kind of like a stunt actor.
What happens next?
He runs into an alleyway, right next to the lounge. I couldn't see into it.
Did you hear anything?
Yeah, I heard, there was some loud thuds, some banging, screaming, for about 10 minutes.
And ma'am, after those 10 minutes finished, did you see the serpent?
Yeah, so after it got quiet, the serpent came back out, started running for a few blocks until they were out of my sight, turned the left, past these buildings.
Well, after the serpent ran past you, what'd you do?
Well, that's when I went into the alleyway, to see what was going on. I got there, and there was a whole crowd of people there, surrounding two people laying on the ground.
Do you know who they were?
I do. One of them was a news reporter here in Tower City named Ali Uchida. The other was a bouncer at the club I worked outside of. His name was Alex Malone.
And what did they both look like to you?
I'm no doctor, but for the most part, Ali looked fine. She was on the ground, but she was breathing, a couple bruises here and there, but Alex, not so much.
What do you mean?
He was laying on the ground. He wasn't moving. His bruises were kind of a lot worse than Ali's were. And around him, there was a kind of like a dark pool of blood.
What happened after you found AJ Maloney in a pool of blood, ma'am?
People in the alleyway started, people were on the phone, I think someone called 911. A couple minutes later, ambulance pulls up and they wheeled Alex and Ali off to the hospital.
Well, after they took Alex to the hospital, what did you do?
At that point, I was gonna go home. I was about to, but I was walking out of the alleyway and on the ground, one of the street lights caught a glare on a piece of green leather almost. It was like a little eye mask.
But would you recognize that eye mask if you saw it today?
I would.
And ma'am, if you could open that binder
Yeah.
in front of you and find that eye mask.
Alright, there's a lot of stuff going on here. Just one second. Oh gosh, I peeled off the label. Is that alright?
That's all right, ma'am.
That's not perjury, is it?
I don't think so, ma'am.
Perfect. Alright, I found it.
All right, is that a fair and accurate description?
Yeah, looks like it.
Is that the mask that you've seen the serpent wearing every time?
Yeah, to a T.
Your Honor, at this time, plaintiff offers the exhibit of the mask.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Ma'am, once you saw this mask on the floor, what did you do?
Well, I picked it up and I kept it.
Did anyone ever come back for it?
Yeah, a couple weeks later, someone came up to me asking if I had seen a mask around that time. I told him I did, pulled it out of my pocket and I gave it to him.
Who was that?
It's Teddy Mothersbaugh?
Ma'am, do you see Teddy Mothersbaugh here in court today?
Yeah, he's right over there, he's wearing the real nice black woolen socks.
Ma'am, how do you know Teddy Mothersbaugh?
You know, Teddy used to hang around the Hellfire Lounge a lot, used to, walk around while I was doing my show. But he doesn't know. He lost the sock every time he came around.
Oh, what happened when Teddy Mothersbaugh came to retrieve his mask?
I gave it to him, and then I sent him on his way.
You said earlier that you had seen the serpent in the past.
Yeah.
Ma'am, do you remember what the rest of his face looked like under that mask?
I mean, the mask, I don't know if you can see, it doesn't cover much of the face, right? I can see his skin color, that sort of thing.
And ma'am, as far as you can tell, did he have the same features as the defendant over there?
Yeah, yes, same hair color, skin color, sure looks like it.
All in all, would you say that they look pretty similar?
Yeah, I think so,
Thank you, Ms. Darwish.
sure.
Nothing further at this time.
Cross.
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
You may.
Good afternoon, Ms. Darwish.
Hey, that's all.
I want to talk a little bit more about your relationship with Hellfire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you said, you do your variety shows there, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's a great club. Has a lot of glitter, sweat inside, and then these men covered in glitter and sweat. It's awesome.
Well, Ms. Darwish, you're normally outside most of the time.
Yeah, there was once I brought a puppet in. They told me to stop getting handsy. They kicked me off the curb.
But that's a yes, most of the time you're outside the club performing.
That's right.
You'd say 6 or 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's where I make most of my income.
And you mostly live off of tips, right?
That's right. I do.
And because you live off of tips, Hellfire is a pretty sweet gig for you.
Yeah, because everyone comes up in the line and, they pass me. They're post pregame and it's a cash only establishment. It's a sweet gig.
Well, let's break that down. Like you said, the lines are super long, right?
That's right.
That's more people who can tip you.
Absolutely.
You said it was cash only, right?
Yeah.
That's more people who can give you money.
Yeah, absolutely. They're anti-Apple Pay.
Right, and the other thing is that they're also kind of drunk by the time they get to you, right?
That's right. Like I said, they have 1 to 20 sips to drink, so they come and watch my show.
Right, they're more willing to give you.
Absolutely. It's hard to watch my shows, I've heard from people, if you're sober doing it. So that's why I closed out, right outside the club.
Now, Ms. Darwish, the owner of Hellfire lets you perform in front of that bar, right?
That's right. It's this sweeter older guy, Mr. Emerson.
That's right, Mr. Emerson lets you perform in front of his bar.
He's right there. Hi there.
But Mr. Emerson could also stop letting you perform in front of his bar, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
He could tell you to get off the street.
Yeah.
Like you said on your direct examination, that's a pretty hard corner to get work on.
Absolutely. I've had to fight those Scientologists tooth and nail to keep my place there.
So you'd say you're pretty grateful that Mr. Emerson lets you perform in front of his bar.
Sure.
And after July 20th, he asked you to testify for him.
Yeah, he asked me if I saw anything that night, and if I did, I could come to court.
He wanted you to say what you saw that night on his behalf.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to get on Mr. Rajan's bad side, do you?
No, I mean, he looks like a fine guy. I don't think he has a bad side. He looks great, sir.
Is that a yes to my question, Ms. Darwish? You don't want to get on his bad side.
No.
You even hope that your testimony might send someone to jail.
Yeah, I don't know how court works like that, but I see it in the movies sometimes, so as long as it's not me, I'm fine.
Well, Ms. Darwish, let's talk about who you might want to send to jail.
Sure.
You know Teddy Mothersbaugh, right?
I do.
Sitting,
I study.
sitting right there, right?
Yeah, I'm sitting right there.
You don't like my client, do you?
I'm not the biggest fan of the guy, sure.
Let's talk about why. A while ago, you used to be a confidential informant.
That's right, I was a confidential informant for the police department. They need eyes on the street. I've got 2 of them, I was perfect for the job.
You would tell them things about the drugs at Hellfire.
Yeah, any stories I saw. There was once, there was this guy outside Hellfire, he was taking pictures of people with his big camera without their permission. So I went to the police. And I told them, I said, this guy's out here, he's flashing people. And after that, they kind of stopped taking me serious.
And, well, Ms. Darwish, when you told the police things like a guy was flashing people outside, they would give you money in return.
That's right,
They would give you cash.
yeah,
You liked having that extra income.
sure.
It supplemented the tips that you lived on.
Yeah, absolutely, I was basically working 2 jobs at the same time.
But one day, Mr. Mothersbaugh and his partner showed up to your house.
That's right.
They were asking you about a drug enterprise at Hellfire.
Yeah, they were writing some sort of newspaper story about Hellfire.
The next day, that article published.
Yeah, that's right.
It was about confidential informants working with the police.
Yeah, so here's the problem with being a confidential informant. There's only 2 requirements. Confidential and informant. That's how you be a CI. You're not confidential, you're just an I.
And when that article published, you were no longer confidential, were you?
That's right, it was just me, myself, and I.
And when people found out that you were an informant, you couldn't be an informant anymore, could you?
No, they took the I straight from the palms of my hands.
They stopped giving you that money.
That's right.
And you started to lose tips when people found out you were informing to the police.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't like being spied on.
That put you in a pretty serious financial predicament.
I wouldn't say too serious.
But you agree, you lost a lot of money from that.
Sure.
You lost all the money that you could have made if you told the police information.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you were losing all this money in tips.
Sure.
And let's be clear, Ms. Darwish, the person that you blame for that is Teddy Mothersbaugh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Mothersbaugh. It took the C right away from you.
Thank you, Ms. Darwish. No further questions.
All right, is there any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor.
All right,
Yeah.
next witness.
Your Honor, the defense calls Mr. Nova Stone to the stand. May I proceed?
You may.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you please introduce yourself to the court?
I Nova Stone.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. For 20 years, I served as the head butler for the Humphrey household in Buckinghamshire, England. It was the pinnacle of my esteemed career. But nowadays, it seems that I'm the one being served. Drink after drink.
Mr. Stone, why the career change?
Many moons ago, I was serving the Humphreys their evening meal as usual, and tragedy struck. After 20 years of dutiful and impeccable service, I slipped and I dropped my tray. It was caviar with quail eggs. I can still see them on my vest, rolling away beneath the Chesterfield.
Well, what brought you from Buckinghamshire to Murado?
After the tray incident, the Humphreys relegated me to the butler blacklisted prison. So I was forced to emigrate to the States. But then I tried cable at the poshest sector of the American service industry. I was a personal assistant to a billionaire.
Do you still work for that billionaire?
No, tragically he died aboard a passenger train. And if you can believe it, I've since been added to the billionaire's plan. So I've been consigned to spending the rest of my miserable life at the Hellfire Lounge. Makes a dive bar of Buckingham Palace.
So how do you spend your time at Hellfire Lounge?
What else is there to do but enjoy sanctioned drink of choice? Everclear. Neat.
Mr. Stone, how would you describe the environment at Hellfire Lounge?
What I imagine the bottom of the barrel to be like. Damp, dark. The most peculiar odor. All the patrons seem to be trying to get turned, as they say. Drugs, alcohol, dancing, never saw a proper promenade.
Well, now that we know more about your relationship with Hellfire, I want to move on and talk about the day of the incident. Were you at Hellfire Lounge on July 20th?
But of course, where else would I be on a Tuesday?
Well, what time did you arrive at the bar?
8 o'clock. Hellfire service is not particularly punctual, but patience is a butler's virtue. I stood steadfast in the queue for 30 minutes.
Did you see anyone you knew outside of the bar while you were waiting?
Yeah. Mr. Teddy Mothersbaum. Preppy fellow.
Did you talk to Mr. Mothersbaugh?
Yeah. He asked me to do. No one has asked me to do that. Service. He asked me to watch over his fair maiden, Ali Uchida. For the first time in years, I felt truly seen for the valiant man I am.
Well, Mr. Stone, did you watch over Ali Uchida inside the bar?
No, I forgot.
Well, what did you do once you were inside the bar?
I made my way to the bar, ordered some drinks. But I couldn't enjoy them. I was interrupted by the most ghastly cacophony of noise.
What cacophony of noise was that?
It was the yelling from the big burly bouncer, Alex Maloney. The gallivanting about the bar the whole evening. Kept screaming the name Ali over and over again.
Was the bouncer yelling anything else other than Ali?
Nay, he bellowed. I'll make sure you never investigate again.
Well, did you see where Mr. Maloney went after he yelled, "I'll make sure you never investigate again"?
Not a fan. But as I followed, curious, I saw that he was with Ali Uchida, the journalist, real Joseph Pulitzer of our time. But knows how to keep a pulse on Morado, a fleeting it may be.
What happened when he caught up to Ali Uchida?
Oh, he swung at her. Very rude. Poor girl didn't stand a chance. He was much bigger. Hugely.
What did he do after he swung at Ali Uchida?
I don't know. They scurried off in the dark.
Now, Mr. Stone, you said Mr. Maloney was around the bar that night. Did you ever see him with any substances of sort?
Substances, you say? I believe so.
What do you mean by that?
It seemed he had in his possession an itty-bitty baggie, some sort of white powder.
Would you recognize that baggie if I showed it to you?
Indeed.
Approaching the witness with what has been marked as Exhibit 8. Mr. Stone, is that baggie you saw Mr. Maloney with?
Cheers.
Objection to the lack of foundation, have you heard?
Yes.
Your Honor, we haven't heard any foundation that this is the exact same bag, certainly a plastic bag with powder, looks like a plastic bag with powder. We need some sort of identifying markings that would qualify this witness to be able to testify that this is the same bag we saw.
Okay, response.
Your Honor, I can lay more foundation for class.
All right, if you want to lay more foundation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Stone, does that appear to be a similar bag that Mr. Maloney was carrying?
Yes, it has the same green stripe and the greyish powder.
It appears to be the same bag from that night.
Yes.
Defense moves exhibit 8 into evidence, Your Honor.
All right, is that sufficient foundation for you?
Yes, Your Honor, no objection.
All right, it's answered.
Mr. Stone, I wanna walk back. You said that you saw them run into the alley. Did you follow them after that?
No, Mr. Mothersbaugh's directive slipped my mind. Instead, I became engaged into a brawl, some blokes at the bar. I lost. Again. In much in the same manner as my home country, I was forced to do.
Well, what did you do when you were forced to depart the bar?
I came across Mr. Mothersbaugh. He seemed to have a much more unfortunate evening than I. Because of his
Objection,
art.
speculation as to mother's boss seeming to have a much more unfortunate.
Sustained.
Yes, Your Honor.
Motion to strike.
Sure.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you saw Mr. Mothersbaugh, what did he look like?
He didn't look very good. He had a black eye, some scratches on his face.
Did you talk to Mr. Mothersbaugh when you saw him with that black eye?
Yeah. He said in his hour of need, just wanted to make sure that Ali was safe.
What did you do after you spoke to Mr. Mothersbaugh?
He told me to go to the hospital, and I did, briefly. Then it was back to the bottom of the barrel. This beleaguered and
Thank you, Mr. Stone. No further questions.
Ross?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed?
You may.
Mr. Stone, before you took the stand today, you raised your right hand and you made an oath. True?
Yes.
You made an oath that everything you told these jury members was going to be true.
Of course.
Sir, this isn't the first time you've made that.
No, it is not.
You've testified in a trial just like this one, raised your right hand, made an oath to tell the truth.
Indeed, I have.
Mr. Stone, you lied.
A little bitty.
So-
Very small.
Sir, you said something that wasn't true.
Yeah.
And let's talk about whether or not we can figure out what you're saying today is true. Because you were saying that you were at the bar drinking drink after drink, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whiskey, tequila, vodka, sir, that's not a list of drinks at the Murado PD's evidence locker.
No, it is.
That's the list of drinks that were in your body.
Yeah.
Sir, you had 3 whiskey Red Bulls,
Indeed.
3 shots of tequila,
Yeah.
2 vodka sodas.
They were most enjoyable.
You want us to believe what you saw after you had 8 drinks in your blood.
Madam, butlers are sharp as a knife. I assure you I can handle my liquor.
Well, then I want to walk through what you saw that night and we can take it step by step in case you have trouble remembering. All right?
Yes, madam.
You're in that bar, you see Alex Maloney chasing Alucci.
Yes,
Alex Maloney does not have a weapon.
that is correct.
Then you get kicked out of that bar for drinking too much.
Yes,
Then you stumble out of the bar.
yes,
And then you see the defendant.
true.
But there's 2 people you don't see.
What do you mean?
Sir, at that point, Alex Maloney and Ali Uchida, they've already been taken to the hospital.
I believe that is true, yes.
So you turn around to Teddy Mothersbaugh and he says, "You look pretty drunk, let me call you an Uber."
Yes,
He calls the Uber,
he did.
you wait for the Uber,
Indeed,
you drive from the bar to the hospital,
I was drinking, yes.
you wait at the waiting room,
Yeah,
then a doctor speaks to you.
this is true, yes.
Sir, after that doctor speaks to you, that's when the ambulance shows up with Alex Maloney and Ali Uchida.
I believe so, yes.
So
According to Stone Cold Sober Nova Stone, you get in your lightning speed Uber, drive from the bar to the hospital, wait in the waiting room, get examined by a doctor, and then the ambulance shows up with the comatose man?
I believe so. The examination was very brief.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right, can you redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor, we ask that this witness be excused. And Your Honor, would you like us to collect the exhibit A?
Yeah.
Right here, right?
For 15
For
minutes.
15.
And then scores, please submit the first page of your ballot before the second half starts. So submit that before the break ends.